Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 2:30 and I want to get going right away. So today we are going to be talking about teaching simplified. We are going to talk about one-on-ones and we're going to talk about classes. My goal for you during our time together is that you learn some valuable tidbits of information, okay, that will help you improve your teaching time at classes and one-on-ones, and that you learn to close your classes better, so that you can actually enroll the people that you teach. I know a lot of times we get on these calls and we learn a lot, and I hope that what I teach you today is very helpful, but I know that you're not going to remember it all, and that's okay. And I know that probably some of the things you do at classes may work better than what I'm going to tell you right now, and that's okay too. Just take this Teaching Simplified class, and what you can take away from it, take away and apply it. So hopefully this is very helpful for you. So here's my first question to you all. What good is it? And nobody answer, because I'm actually going to record this and put all the questions at the end. So just save all your questions, write them down if you need to, and I'll answer them at the end. But what good is it if somebody comes to an oil presentation and they hear your awesome presentation and you like kill it with your presentation, and everybody's so excited? I know you guys have been here before, and they're like taking notes and seem like they love it, but then like people leave without actually buying the oils. They've gained some valuable information, but nothing was really accomplished. It's great that they learned more about oils, but nothing was accomplished if they can't put into practice what they learned. Like, they have to get the oils. And so we're going to talk about today, like, how to actually get them to get oils, because we want them to leave getting oils. And then at the very end, I'm going to give you some action items, like an assignment for the week, so make sure you stay tuned. So what I'm going to do is share my screen with you real quick, and I'm really slow at the computer, so I'm just going to tell you that right now. But I put it here. We're going to do that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's get started about first, before we get into teaching, by talking about your life. I want you to think with me about how things are going in your life right now, because you're the one that's in it. Think of the number of hours that you've said that you're going to commit to working this doTERRA business. And when you think of that, like, say you said, I can work 10 hours a week on this business. That's awesome if you can do 10 hours. Then I want you to divide that by 2, and I want you to spend 5 hours either teaching a class or one-on-ones. Or sorry, not 5 hours, 5 one-on-ones or 5 classes during the week out of that 10 hours. That might seem like a lot, but a lot of people want to do this doTERRA business, but they want to get on the computer or get on Facebook and do all kinds of cool things, which is great, but that really doesn't move you forward in your business. It doesn't grow your business. Nothing's going to grow it like this teaching and getting before people and presenting to more and more people. So that is going to be key to your business. Let me see here. So many people get stuck in this business because they listen to a really good call like this from some leader, and they like it, but they leave the call feeling like they can never do what that person is doing. Even what I said just now, they're like, I can't even do that. There's no way I can work 10 hours and do 5 classes. That's okay. Don't get overwhelmed. What can you do? Like, realistically, what can you do? Don't leave the call feeling paralyzed by what I'm talking to you about, because that's not what I want to happen here today. I really want you to leave here knowing how you can apply this to your practical life that you have going on right now. I'm going to talk about 2 ways to do classes. I'm going to talk about one-on-ones and group classes, and then even one-on-ones doing over Zoom like we're doing right now, or one-on-ones on the phone. How to do all of these things is really basically the same, but I want you to stop and think right now, like, what fits into my life better? Like, what fits into my schedule? One-on-ones or group classes? What works better for you? For me, I'm just going to tell you my story. When I first got started, I had a big warm market and lots of friends that were very interested in the oils. And so I used to do a lot of group classes when I first got started, and that worked really well for me when I was getting things going. And it also works really well for me right now when I have somebody host a class for me, or I'm in a different area. But I don't do as many classes as I used to. Let me see here. I don't do as many classes as I used to. Big classes is what I'm talking about. What I like to do right now, a lot of times with newer people, is one-on-ones. I either do them, I meet them in person. I am a busy mom, just like probably all of you. I homeschool my kids. My husband's in ministry, and we live out in the country. And so a lot of times I will do have people over for lunch or do play dates, and then we do one-on-ones, or I will do it over the phone or over Zoom. Even with people that live locally in town, a lot of times they're just busy and they don't want to get together with you for coffee or whatever it is. Like, they have a lot going on, and that's okay. Just do it over the phone or over Zoom. So what about you? Think about you. What would work better for you? What's actually doable in each week? Maybe it's, I can do classes on Thursday nights, and then I can do one-on-ones these times. So at the end of the call, I really want you to sit down and think, like, what would realistically fit into my schedule? And then I also want you to think, will you actually step out and do it? So you can make all these great plans, but if you don't actually step out and do it, then it's no good at all. One thing I want you to remember as we're talking through the class, because we're going to go into how to actually teach a class, like, very simply, just the basic bones of a class. I'm not going to give you all the little details or anything like that, because you guys can figure that out and put that in there. But my little girl, she's just turned 12, and she takes violin, and she works really hard at it, and she does a great job. And her teacher always tells her, he always says, practice makes permanent. So if this makes you nervous, don't stress out. Like, practice makes permanent. You will learn it so well that you don't even have to think about it if you practice this. So the more you do this, the better you're going to get at it. So keep that in mind as we go through this, that practice is going to make permanent. And I'm going to try to advance these slides. And for some reason, they're not going. There we go. Okay. To start out, a sales conversation is a class, it's a one-on-one, it's a Zoom, it's any of those things. So what are the key elements? I'm going to put them all out here for you. The first thing you're going to do with somebody is establish a connection. We'll talk through all of these here. We're going to establish a connection. The next thing you're going to do is give them an agenda, because people want to know where you're going. The next thing you'll do is you'll learn about their goals. The next is company story. You're going to tell a little bit about doTERRA. And then you're going to teach the top 10 oils and lifelong vitality, and then you're going to close the class. And then troubleshoot if necessary when you're trying to get people to buy at the end. So if we have time, we'll talk through all of those. I'm going to try to keep this call to 30 minutes, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so first of all, establish a connection. This is just pleasantries. This is just when you're meeting with people, when you're just getting there. Okay, it only needs to last about 5 minutes. Ask them how their week has been so far and just make small talk. And then I encourage you, pick one thing that you love to learn about people and then learn about that from everybody that you talk to. Like, maybe it's their family. Maybe you like to ask about families, or maybe you like to ask about jobs, or some random other question that you like to know about people. That's great. Pick that and talk to them about something that you really want to know about them. You don't want to be fake. Nobody likes that, and people will see right through it. So try to make a genuine connection with people during this part. The key to all of this is to make this whole experience about them. Okay, guys, people are stressed out. They're busy. They're just going through life, like, just trying to survive. I feel like every mom in the world that I talk to, I'll be like, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm crazy. Oh, I'm busy. Like, that's where they are. And so make this time about them. Make this like an encouraging time for them. While you're doing the small talk, ask them if you can give them a neck rub and love on them with some past tense or whatever you want to do. Or maybe it needs to be balance or something to help them de-stress and just like be able to sit there. Make sure that they know that you care about them, and that this next hour that you're with them, or this next 45 minutes, or whatever it takes, this is all about them, and you want to be there for them. People need you. And so if you show them genuine love and make a genuine connection, they're going to feel that, and they're going to know that that's real, and they're going to leave there encouraged. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do, so you've made small talk, and remember, we're focusing this all on them. You're going to ask them their health goals. I said your health goals here, but that means you're going to ask them, what are your health goals? So you're going to ask them, or sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. This is your agenda. So the reason the agenda is so important when you're telling them is because people want to know where you're going. They don't want to sit there and like be looking at their watch being like, what is she going to keep talking about and rambling on about next? Like if they know point A, B, C is where you're going, then they're going to really appreciate it. So you're going to say, we're going to talk a little bit today about your health goals. Then we're going to go over the company history or doTERRA's history and some of our top products. You don't have to buy anything. You got to remove the pressure to buy, guys. You say you don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, you can order it today. Before we get started, what things do you want to make sure we go over today? Because they may have something in their mind that they really wanted to talk to you about, but if you don't ask them that, then they won't leave there feeling satisfied. So write down whatever it is that they say they want to make sure they go over today, and then make sure as you talk that you actually go over that. Okay, now we're going to get into learn about your goals. Now, before I actually have a class or even a one-on-one, usually, especially if it's one in person, and especially if it's one that somebody has asked me to host or that I'm hosting, or sorry, somebody's hosting for me, I like to contact the people ahead of time. It's an idea that I got from a girl, Alicia, on my team, but I like to contact them ahead of time and just say, hey, my name's Amy. Sally gave me your number. I'm really excited to meet you on Monday night at 6. So it kind of gives them a reminder about the class. And then I say, we're going to be, I want this class to be all about you. So if you could tell me some of your top health goals, or your top 1 or 2 or your top 3 health goals, that would really help me. So that I know how to prepare for the class. And if you do that, I'll bring you a special gift to give you to help you towards one of those health goals. And so what I do then is I make up a little sample bottle for them with that. And then they know that they're going to get a gift from me, and I've established a connection with them even before the class starts. And I get a lot more people to actually show up for my classes because I've taken that little extra step. So that's just a great invite technique to give you there. So when you're learning about their goals, you're going to write all this down, okay? So you got your paper. You already wrote down what they want to know about, what they want to go over. Next, you're going to say, I'll be able to help you best if I get an idea of your health goals. What are some of the health goals that you have? And so write that down. And then keep asking them over and over, like, what else, anything else? Because you want to make sure you get a comprehensive list of like their health and where they are. And then the next thing you want to say is, why are those goals so important to you? Because you want to see like why it matters, and you want them to realize why it's important, like what it's affecting in their life that they might need changed. And then you might say, or then you'll say next, why do you feel that now is a good time to move toward achieving those goals? So again, you're helping them realize and acknowledge why it's important. And then go ahead with a transitional phrase and say, I got it. So what do you already know about doTERRA? So you can find out where they are. So because you don't want to cover stuff that they already know. Next, you'll go right into your company story. And this is a company story, and we'll post the script for all this so you guys can have this. But it's a great script. You're going to start with a headline. You're going to say, doTERRA is the largest essential oil distributor in the world. We work with families to use natural solutions for their everyday life. Then you'll go with a transitional phrase, like moms turn to us when. And then next we're going to talk about like the issues that are addressed by doTERRA, like what doTERRA helps. Their current approach to health is not achieving the results it was supposed to. They're tired of using chemical concoctions for literally everything and are confused by all the natural options out there and have no time to research it all. They want more energy to do the things they love without the side effects of stimulants, and they want to increase the overall quality of life for their family. doTERRA offers a full line of essential oil kits to support your family's health goals, whatever they are. So that's just a brief overview of what you're going to talk about. And then you'll say, doTERRA has raised the bar in the essential oils industry. There are no fillers, no artificial ingredients, no dilution. The plants are grown in their ideal environments, and the oils go through 5 levels of testing to ensure purity and potency. So those are differentiators. You're setting the company apart by saying those things. You want to know what makes doTERRA different from the rest. And you even say, this means that when you see that doTERRA label, you can be assured you'll see the highest health benefits, which is true. And then at the end, tell them about our guarantee, because the fact that we have a guarantee is a really cool thing. So say if you don't like it, you can return it within 30 days and get 100% product credit to try something else, or 90% return back to your cart. So give them all that information, and that will help you. Okay, so we're going to go from the pleasantries to giving them an agenda, finding out what their health goals are, and then giving them this little blurb about doTERRA so they understand what makes us different than everybody else. And then you'll go into teaching your actual class. Okay, so I always say start with the end in mind. Like, which kits are you going to offer them to buy? You don't want to overwhelm people, guys. Like, you just want to give them the basics. A lot of times people are overwhelmed when they leave oils class, and I made this mistake so many times in the beginning, and I would get no sales because people just couldn't figure it out. So you need to start with the end in mind. What kits are you going to offer them at the end? Pick 2 kits that you think you can sell. And the best 2 kits to pick, I'm just going to tell you right now, are the Home Essentials Kit and the Family Essentials Kit if you're new. As you get better at selling, you can pick higher kits. Like, you could go to the Natural Solutions Kit and the Home Essentials Kit. But start with those 2 kits, because those have our top 10 oils in it that really address most every health problem somebody's going to tell you about. And so those are going to be an awesome thing. So as you go through your class, you're going to explain the top 10 oils, or the 10 oils that are in both of those kits. And then you'll talk about lifelong vitality. When you're doing this, I don't like to give them a ton of information. I like to give them just the class paper that we're going over. If you even give them a paper at all, if you want to, you can give them a blank sheet of paper, and they can take notes on it. This is what I get. It's from Simple Solutions. It's just this paper like this, and it has just the pictures of the oils, the top 10 oils, and then it has lifelong vitality on the back, and it has a picture of the Home Essentials Kit. And that's all I give them during the class time. So, because it's easy and they're not distracted, because I hate it when people are just like writing things down or looking through a big catalog. I've had that happen so many times, like back in the past. Like, I would go to teach a class for somebody and they'd passed out catalogs, and it's like the people couldn't get over the catalogs to look at it. Or even if you just give them a whole thing with the price points and everything like that, they're just looking through stuff the whole time. Give them something simple and give them that other stuff at the end. So how to teach about each oil, okay? So this is the basics. When you get into teaching, this doesn't need to last that long. You already know what people's health goals are, okay? So you're going to tailor this to what their health goals are. So you would say, the first item in your kit, or the next item in your kit is, and keep saying your kit so they know that you're talking about their kit the whole time. And then you name the oil, and then you say, you will use this for, like, say, maybe it's peppermint, when your allergies act up. And then explain the use and the benefit to them, because we mentioned allergies because they told us that they had allergies. And say it will help clear that congestion that you talked about. And then always give them a confirmation question just to make sure they're on the same page as you. Like, you could say, what do you think? Or helpful, isn't it? You want to get them to nod or say yes and get them going, because you also don't want to continue on with this class if people are totally lost. So you just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. And then rinse and repeat. That just means go on to the next oil and go over and over through the top 10 oils. If you want to throw in a story here and there, that's fine. Just don't make it a 5-minute story. Make it a pretty quick story. Things that you might not use as frequently, say you might not use this one every single day, but it's what you would use when, like, you get a cold or you get sick or something like that. So that's a good phrase there that you can throw in. Just so you know, I love scripts. I love when I have them. I used to be a nurse before I started doTERRA, and so I didn't know how to sell anything, so scripts are very helpful to me. Okay, incentives. So after you've taught about all your oils and your lifelong vitality, you're going to go to incentives. Now, I want you to think through this before we talk about it. You're going to give them what you're going to call a first appointment special. It's a very effective way to help customers actually buy that day. It impacts the urgency. Like they know that if they walk out that door, they're not going to get this. And so you want them to want to get that. So if they order that kit or package, you're going to give them the free item to use until the product arrives. So when you're picking your incentives, consider your profit loss. A lot of people like to give really good incentives, and that's great, but like don't give them a big bottle of Serenity if they're only buying the Family Essentials kit and you're not even going to make enough profit from the sale of that class to cover your cost on that bottle. So don't do that. So it doesn't have to be expensive. If you want to give Serenity samples out, that's great, but put them in sample bottles and put 10 drops in there. People are excited about free stuff. Everybody likes free stuff. So it doesn't have to be expensive. It just needs to be purposeful. I like to give books away. I personally feel like if somebody leaves an oil class and they don't take a book with them, then they don't know how to use their oils. So I'm really big into book incentives. You could even do a book for the Home Essentials kit or an A to Z guide for the Family Essentials, because that's a really big difference between those two. And people are going to want those books, and so they would buy the bigger kit. But if the books are too much for you, then don't worry about it. Don't do the books. Like, have the books available for them to buy at the class. But you don't have to give it away for free. Or you could even give them a discounted rate on a book. Say, I would give you half off this book if you got this. You can do anything. Like, think of what works for you. Be creative. And then where it says choice of two, I think I kind of explained that. Like one thing for the bigger kit and one thing for the smaller kit. Okay, so here's how you're going to close. Now that you've thought through that. So after you're done teaching through all your stuff, you say, okay, this is just an example. We'll break it down in a sec. You're going to say, okay, now I'm going to show you our 2 most popular packages. This is the Family Essentials kit. It comes with everything I showed you earlier with 85 drops per bottle, and it's $150. Now this is the Home Essentials kit, and it comes with everything I showed you earlier in 250 drop bottles and a diffuser. It's only $275. A lot of times I even say you're getting triple the amount of oil plus a diffuser for less than double the cost. Really build value around that Home Essentials kit and mention it last, because people often buy what you mention last. They'll buy that. So you're going to kind of do like a soft close. You're not going to actually ask them, but you're going to say, if you were to get one of these, which would you prefer? So you're not actually asking them to buy it. You're just saying, if you're going to get one, which do you like better? So you know what they want. Say, okay, great. Let me tell you about my first appointment special. This is where I give you a free blank, free whatever, or free whatever by placing an order for a kit on my first visit. And then now we're really going to ask them a direct enrolling question. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you this question. Would you like to order the Home Essentials kit and get this book for free? And then just stop, smile, be quiet, and let them think. A lot of times they'll tell you right away. A lot of times people do need a minute to think. Often at a big class, I will move on to the next person and tell them to think about it, or give them time, not tell them to think about it, but tell them they can think about it. But if it's just a one-on-one, just sit there and be quiet. Get up and get a drink of water for yourself or do something like that. So they just have a minute to think. And then write up the order if they want to get it, or troubleshoot. Here's some tips for a solid close, kind of what I went over. First thing, don't freak out. Don't get like so nervous about trying to sell to somebody. It's okay. Like, people sell stuff. We buy stuff. It's okay. Don't get nervous. Show 2 options. I said that already. Make sure you put the bigger kit second. Explain kit A and give the price, and then explain kit B and give the price. And that's all in that example I showed you. And say, if you were to get one of these, which would you prefer? See, when we say prefer, we're just trying to get them to think about what they like better. Let me show you my first appointment special, and then ask that direct enrolling question at the end, okay? Because you have to ask it before somebody leaves. And then if they don't want to get what you've suggested, then keep giving them options until they find something that they're comfortable purchasing. Okay, so troubleshooting. This is when they don't actually buy, or they're not ready to buy when you say, Okay, like maybe they don't want that home essentials kit that they said they wanted, but they can't do it right now. Remember, before we go into this, like, they're sad when they can't buy. If you go into a store and you really liked a dress and you tried it on and it fit great, and it looks great, but it's too much money, you're going to leave there sad and really wanting it. So if you've done your job and you've built value the entire class around the oils, then they're going to leave there sad without them. So remember that, and don't let them leave there that way. Be excited about all the options. Don't deflate. Even if somebody can't get the bigger kit, that's okay. Make them feel awesome about what they're getting and remind them that they can add stuff later. That's when you can build up that loyalty rewards program to them and say, we have this great program that I'll teach you about later, and it's going to be good, and they'll be good. If they get the larger kit right away, they're all in right away, then suggest complementary products that they can add on to that based on their health concerns right then, because they may very well be interested in doing it. If they say, I got to talk to my husband, usually that means they love it, or they have some mutual agreement upon how much that they will spend. The bottom line with all of it is the spouse isn't there and didn't attend, and so the spouse is not going to get it. A lot of times wives go home and they're excited and they're rambling on, and the husband's looking at them like, what are you talking about, you crazy woman? So they didn't get that class. That's why a lot of times I tell people, bring your husbands. I'm happy for husbands to come to classes or one-on-ones, especially one-on-ones. A lot of times I want the husband there so that we can build value because I feel like it's more effective when they're there. So give them, if they do buy, I'll talk about the spouse thing in a second. Give them a timeline for when the order will arrive so that they know. Make sure that's it. If they want to think about it, find something small that they can start with. So like just keep working your way down, giving 2 options at a time until they find something that actually works for them. And then ask for referrals at the end, and we'll be talking about that in the coming weeks. Or ask them if they'd be interested in hosting a class for you. And always schedule your follow-up appointment before the ending of the class, because remember, we're always walking through those doors with people and seeing if they're open to use the oils. Are they open to share the oils? Like, we want to know if they're open to that. And you always have to be trying to get the business before people if you want to grow your business. So if they say, no, it's not my budget, no problem. Say this is what they said for the Home Essentials Kit. You can get the Family Essentials Kit. It's a great kit. It's just $150. It comes with the smaller bottles, and you're still going to get this for free. Does that work better for you? No, that's still not in my budget. Okay, no problem. Let me show you the Husband Don't Kill Me kit. And this, guys, is just the little lemon, lavender, and peppermint intro kit, and you're going to sell it to them at retail price. Say it comes with lemon, lavender, peppermint. It's only $30. You can use this while you're saving up for the Home Essentials Kit that you really wanted. And the great thing is that you get that free whatever when you upgrade later. Does that work better for your budget? So you're still kind of giving them that guarantee of your first appointment special if they actually go for that Home Essentials Kit later. That way they leave feeling good, like they actually got something, because they didn't get all that information, but then it was useless to them because they didn't get oils. So they leave with oils, and then they feel better, and they actually start using oils, and then eventually they can get something bigger. If you do have big classes, you can, as you're doing it, you can kind of group some of that stuff together, and then have each person identify their top couple of health goals. You can have them go around the room and talk about their top health goals at the beginning, but you don't have to go through like, why is that important to you? Why is that important to you? Or what else? When it's a lot of people. But you do want to know what everyone's health goals in the room are, and because you do want to connect with them personally. And this is just find out what their names are. A lot of times, even in big classes, I'll take notes. I'll say, I got to write this down, guys, because I forget. And I'll write their name and their health goals. So that way I don't forget their names, and I can call their names when I'm talking to them to make it real personal to them. And apply the products to different people throughout. Like, you don't need to say like, breathe will help your congestion. Like, just say, remember, Vicki, you told me about your congestion. So that's what you do with that. And then while they're waiting, like if you've left somebody and you're moving on to the next person, you can give them oil books or A to Z guides to look at while they're waiting for your help. Like if there's a lot of time and downtime while you're trying to get from each person to each person. Okay, so that was my quick version of all the important things to put in an oil class. I'm sure I missed a bazillion things, but those are the things to me that I find super helpful. Remember, when you're meeting with people, it's all about them, okay? This class is for them. It's not for them to hear all the amazing things doTERRA has done in your life, because if you rattle on about it forever, they may not be able to relate with you at all. So make this about them. Make sure that you meet them. You go through the pleasantries, so just talk for about 5 minutes, and then give them an agenda of where you're going with the class. Talk about their health goals. Find out what they are. Tell them about doTERRA and what doTERRA is as a company, and then go through your oils and vitamins, and then close the class. So this week, what I need you guys to do that are in this group is I want you to do 2 things. One, teach a one-on-one or a group class this week, like an in-person one. Okay, if you can work that out, try to do it. And if you've been inviting people and practicing what we've been learning so far, then you should be fine and have people already in your pipeline to talk to this week. And then also do a Zoom one-on-one this week. When you do Zoom, you've got some free airtime with that, and so you should be good to go with Zoom. If you don't use Zoom or whatever, again, you can do this over the phone. I enrolled somebody just recently with a phone appointment because she was an older lady and wasn't going to do it over the computer. She didn't want to, and that was fine, but I actually just directed her to a website where she could see what we were talking about, and then like at the end where I could show her price points and what the kits looked like and stuff. And then she just took notes the whole time, and we talked, and it was fine. So if you ever need to just do a phone appointment, that works too. And then remember, practice makes permanent. If you're nervous about this or this just doesn't feel right to you, that's okay. Just do it. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and then you'll just know it, and it'll become like second nature to you, and it won't be a problem at all. So those are your action items for the week. What I'm going to do now is I am going to stop sharing my screen, and then let's see. I don't know how to unmute all of you guys. If you know how to unmute yourself, you guys can ask questions, because I'm done with my content, because I'm going to try to keep it short. Let's see. Oh, you can't? Okay. You don't think you can talk in this kind of video? Okay. I see what you're saying. I'm reading the chat. I couldn't see the chat through the time. Let me look at the questions in the chat, and we'll go that way. Let's see. I get what you're saying here. Okay, this first question, it says, do you not feel any pressure to just enroll them with the intro kit? Like get your membership and start the intro kit, which is $50 total. Then you can add your collection as you go and then get them on LRP. That's a great idea. Like you can totally do that. I get what you're saying. You're afraid they will go and enroll with somebody else in the meantime. And that does happen because they're not aware of how it works. If you do your follow-up right, if you just get them the intro kit, but you still go ahead and do a first, like a membership overview with them, or whatever you want to call it, like your first appointment with them after, they should understand it. So you should be fine. But if you want to just say like add it on for $35, and I mean, I think it's a great idea to give them both options. Like you could actually get the membership for just $35 added onto this, and then you're good to go, and then get them enrolled on LRP. Great idea. Let's see. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, let me see. Can anybody else talk still, or no? There's no talking. The Simple Solutions handout that I got, I see that question. I just got it. Let me share my screen with you again. I actually got it at convention, a bunch of them, but I know that you can get it. Let me move this bar. I think it's Simple Solutions. Let me look for it here for you guys. Sorry, my internet's slow. Again, I do live in the boondocks. That's it. Sharing Made Simple. That's the name of it. It's sharingmadesimple.com. So that is, stop share. That's the answer to that question. That's a great idea. Bingo is a great way to have a class online and have fun. People don't get that they're learning about the oils while they're having fun. That sounds great. Thank you, Andrea. Glad you like it. Okay, people start asking questions. That's a good question. You find it hard to go through the 10 oils quickly because people start asking questions and the class ends up super long. Yes, I totally get that. That definitely does happen. So how do you handle that? If you, at the beginning of the class, tell them, if you will just save your questions for the end, that would be super helpful for me so that we can get through the content, because I want to respect everyone's time here. I had a girl once, and I thought this was a great idea. I actually don't do it, but she gave everybody a 3x5 card and told them to write their questions on it as they went, and then they answered all the questions at the end. But if you give them a sheet, like the Simple Solution sheet or whatever it is, or just a blank piece of paper, tell them to write their questions on that, and then they could do it that way. But yes, I have been there we've all been there, to have those classes where people just start droning on and on. So that's rough. And you just have to say, like, we've got to move on. Sorry, guys. Or I can talk to you so-and-so at the end of the class about this one thing. Like, happy to help you. I'm just reading through these chat things, guys. Okay, that's good. Let's say some of the stuff. Good. Okay. That is all the questions. Does anybody have any more questions before I close out our time together today? Okay. Well, if you don't, oh, there's one. Have you had many people get back to you wanting to purchase if they wanted to talk to their spouse? Yes, I actually do have people get back to me that want to purchase, mainly because I follow up with them. Like, I bug them until they enroll. And I do have some people that I do have to meet with their spouse, and we do have to do a second time of talking. And sometimes I've even followed up, guys, for a year or 2 years or 3 years with certain people, but they do eventually enroll. Like, I feel like everybody's going to eventually enroll, but you do have to follow up. Like, don't let them drop off your radar, because if they drop off your radar, then you'll lose them. Another person asked, Chris asked, did you find different ways of teaching and found this one effective for you? I've seen so many ways to teach, and it's hard sometimes to know which one to follow. Yes, I have tried many different ways. I took the Emerge training. I feel like it's like back in the summer and then through the fall, because I'm super slow to get through anything I'm working on, because I just can't seem to fit everything into my life. But the Emerge training has been so helpful for me, because it makes the class about them. And I think that's the biggest difference, is making the class about them, focusing on their health goals. I probably do a few things different than I actually said here as I'm just like doing this. I know a lot of times at the very beginning, I will tell them real quickly before I get into the top 10 oils. I'll tell them like the 3 ways to use oils: aromatically, topically, internally, so that I don't have to go through that with each oil. And I forgot to mention that. But yeah, I get that it is overwhelming because there are so many teach sheets and ways to teach out there. You do have to work through which one is best for you. And if you do need to just take, you need to take like little bits and pieces from each one to make it your own, that's fine too. Like you need to do what works for you best. Another question. What would you say on these follow-up calls when it's been a long time and they haven't yet signed up so they don't feel like you're just calling them to get them to sign up? Very good question. When I'm doing follow-up calls, I'm just checking in. I haven't, about doTERRA, like I'm pretty honest. I haven't heard from you or talked to you about it for a while. And sometimes I'll say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I haven't followed up with you in a while about it because I know you had told me you were interested. I always, when I'm following up with somebody long-term, make sure that they actually want it. Like I always say I'm giving somebody the no, but I say, like, if you're really not interested, it's okay. Like I'll stop bugging you. It doesn't matter to me at all. But if you are interested, I'll follow up with you. So make sure you've given them an out. And if it's somebody that says, no, I don't want to, then let them go. And then still try to run into them and bring it up at some point somehow. But don't bug those people that have told you, no, I'm not interested in it, because you don't want to turn people off. But if it's somebody that said, yeah, I'm interested, I just don't have the money right now, like just every now and then follow up with them. And they've told you, they've given you permission to follow up with them. Anybody else? I don't see any more questions. Okay, I think I've answered everything. If I missed somebody's stuff, I'm sorry. You guys can always, once we post the recording of this video, we can ask questions there if you guys have any more questions. Thank you all for being on this call today. I really appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here, and I love connecting with you all. You guys are doing a great job, and keep pushing along. And remember, practice makes permanent. Have a good day.